We are start recording.
Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. I almost said happy Tuesday. I don't know about everybody else, but today's been one of those Mondays where I feel like it was a long Monday. So take a breath. Of course, the dog is scratching the door. So I gotta let him in, Krista. Hold on. He's gonna do this for like 9 hours straight.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, guys.
You're good. So
Don't apologize. Lesson release. You see my morning Zooms every single day.
I know, and she was commenting on them. Lord, people are still piling in.
Why do y'all have twin glasses? I want
these.
I want them.
We got these in the Boss Babe boxes from Courtney.
Oh, I want to wear my leopard ones.
Tracy's got hers. I can see her now.
Yeah,
she's eating her candy.
What?
So work hard, show up for your people, and you'll probably get some of these. I know mine was the blue Raz. This has nothing to do with mindset. Well, it kind of does, but
actually, I'll take it from here if you don't mind.
Sure.
So about these glasses and earning that boss box, I really wanted to hit this one on the head because I had a few things to say. So a few days ago, and don't quote me on days because my brain doesn't work that well. I don't know how many days, 2 days, 1 day. Courtney asked if anybody felt the same way as somebody that came to her on the team and said, hey, I feel like top earners are the only ones who are like valued. And I was like, oh, everybody just wait a minute. So I'm gonna drop a truth bomb. And everybody, I don't know if anybody knows this, but I actually have not hit the first rank in our company yet. And I really wanted to expound, and I really thought that I should say that to everyone on our team, because I think it's like a lot of people are like, wait, what? And I had a whole conversation with Courtney about that, because the first 2 months I was here, and I've been here 4.5 months now, 2.5, 3 months. I don't even know, guys. I'm not even keeping track. The first several months I was here, I was just like, I mean, if I win, I win. If I don't, I don't, whatever. I really wasn't in it to win it. And then I just kind of, a couple weeks ago, like had a meeting with Courtney. I was like, I think I'm ready to be successful now. And, life can really be that, simple. You can wake up one day and just decide that you're going to be successful. And I think for some people, it sounds really, really complex. Like, oh my God, in order to be successful, I'm going to have to, do this. And yes, there are a lot of things involved in that quantify like a successful human being. Of course, I'm going to mispronounce that. But one thing I really wanted to just touch on with that is, number one, you are valued the way you value yourself. And I think I used to be one of those people who I'm like, oh, no one's going to like me. I go to the party. I was a wallflower purposely. Scoot in and out of the back. Nobody really likes me. And it's all a mindset thing. It's all a game of mindset. I'm one of those people where I'm like equal parts introvert and extrovert. I can be extremely extroverted and I can be extremely introverted. I'm really good at both. It just depends on when. So I get really extroverted, then I get really burnt out and want to be super alone. But not everybody is the same. Some people, they need that validation of extrovertedness, and some people don't. But I'm kind of one of those, like, I love, attention and stuff, but then I kind of really don't. But I really just wanted to say that I have a lot of life experience. I have years of self-development alone. I actually used to like working alone and not with a team. I actually told myself I'm never going to work with a team. I was really good at that, you guys. I was really, really good at not working with a team, just being solo. Then I realized my family's a team and I needed a team of people to help with my kids with special needs. And all of a sudden I'm like, well, I'm going to have to learn how to be a team player now. But that's not really, I'm going off on a bunny rabbit hole, and I don't know how to make my computer silence notifications. So I apologize for the 50 dings, but I will figure that out for next week. The one thing I just wanted to say though, is if we don't value, and I said this before, but if we don't value ourselves, nobody else will. If you decide you're going to be successful, then be successful, but don't go looking for validation of your success, because that is like when Courtney talked about alpha and beta energy, that is just like, we all want validation. We all want to be told like, yeah, that's awesome. And I think this team is really, really good at that. But if that's what you're looking for, you're not going to find it. You need to seek value in yourself first, and you need to know your worth. You are the best you on the entire planet. Nobody can you like you can. Not one human being in the entire world can do you as awesome, as creative, as unique as you are. And I just think that is so important. If you don't like you, no one's going to like you. If you have negative energy and negative vibes and you keep hearing negative in the world, it's because the energy you're spreading is negative. I actually was on the phone with a friend today, and she's like, hey, did you hear about that one test that they did? I didn't look it up, so I can't verify this info. But she was like, where they had 2 plants, and one of them they like spoke bad things to, and the other one they spoke like good things to, and the bad one died, and the good one, like the one that they spoke positive things to, grew and flourished. And I was like, that's like the power of energy in the world. And if you're walking around in that negative space, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be successful. I don't know. Well, you might not. But if you are on the struggle bus, which I heard Tracy saying, I was like, yes, struggle bus. And I was like, yes, it's every day I'm on the struggle bus. Every day I have moments of my day where I am the struggle bus. Toot, toot, coming into the station. It's just a matter of practicing flipping out of that. I talked about turning a breakdown into a breakthrough in the past. And I think this is the biggest thing I just wanted to touch on is everybody says, choose your hard. Well, no one wants anything to be hard. When we struggle, when we fail, when things don't work out the way we want them to, of course, it's like devastating, or we just feel numb after a while. If there's so many failures, if you're like me, you just become numb to it, and you're just like, there it goes again. And this dog, Jesus, like mini Cujo. If you're like me, then you really beat yourself up a lot for struggling, for not being successful. And I have taken years of learning how not to do that. And I can't say that's an overnight process. Every single time I struggled, which was more than some people I knew, every single failure has led me, and I know Rascal Flats has led me right to you. Like seriously though, everything that I have done wrong, every failure, every abusive circumstance, every single thing I have ever done, every time I yelled at my kids and was like, man, I shouldn't have done that. It has all helped me to evaluate my life. When I was a teenager, I looked at my parents and I'm like, wow, they're really abusive, but they really just don't know what they're doing. And I just don't think they had good examples. But at least I have a vision of what not to do. So I try to look at everything I possibly do as positive feedback. Oh, well, this relationship was psychotic and abusive. Don't do that ever again. Don't, sit here and go, oh my God, I'm a victim. Oh, I'm this. Well, you could be, and maybe you were for that day or that hour or that minute. But if you're going to live into that for the rest of your life, you'll never get out of there. And that is a dark, sad, scary little place to be in, like a little tiny shadow box of your fears, insecurities. Break that crap open and just decide that you're going to take and be happy for your struggles. Be happy from where you were and where you're going. And when they say, like, I think I've heard the same statement. I think we've all heard like awesome, positive things, and we haven't, we're like, oh, wow, that's great. But we really don't sit there and think about it for like a minute. Like, wow, if I didn't have this one horrible circumstance, I would have never met my husband. I wouldn't be in this house. If I didn't, if I didn't do this, I wouldn't have these kids. I wouldn't be here. If I didn't go through all that, I wouldn't know how to develop myself into the person I am. I'm proud for the crap I've been through because it's made me like a warrior. I am one of the best, most resilient people I know, and people come to me. I feel great about that. That's something that I love to do. So you know, I think some people go, oh my God, I'm a failure. No one wants to hear from me. I have my aunts and uncles call me for marital advice when I was a single woman with a divorce. And I'm like, really? Really? Me? I mean, I know I'm reliable and I'm smart, but I just got divorced. You know, people confide in me because I just have an energy of, all right, well, if this isn't going to work, what's going to work? Because there are so many opportunities in my life where I could have thrown the towel. There's a couple opportunities where I almost walked in front of a bus. And if you go down that road and you keep doing that, that's all your life will ever be, is a constant pattern of negative energy exponentially growing into just not good things in your life. And the good news is that you can wake up and you can just decide, I'm going to choose my heart. And if it sucks today, well, maybe tomorrow I'll have 2 more minutes of better energy. If I was negative for 4 hours today, well, get off it. That's what I tell myself. Okay, all right, you totally blew it today. You sucked. Get off it. Stop dwelling on that. Just get off it and move on. And that's, I think, when people say get off it, it's like, you know what? You get off it, lady. Like, when people are like, you know what? Get off it. You know what? You get over here. You get off it. I'm more, I can be confrontational. I don't like people telling me what to do. But when someone says like, yeah, just let it go. Why? Because you said you're going to. Like, practice in those moments when like you're going to lose your SHIT, or you just want to sit down and you're not doing another thing and you know exactly what you need to be doing. Just choose not to do that. And if it sucks and you don't like it, well, you know, so did brushing your teeth twice a day when you were a kid and not wanting to do that. So, you know, you're gonna get where you want to be if you just put one foot, you know, just keep swimming, like Dory says. But I am thankful, and this is the difference between me and a lot of people, that I have realized, is I am thankful for every struggle and every failure that I've ever been through, for every moment of abuse, for every court case, for every crazy thing I've been through, and even not that crazy stuff, even just, you know, not picking the kids up on time from school and totally blowing that up. I mean, it doesn't have to be some crazy circumstance. Learning to be on time to school, being someone who's managing time better. Whatever your struggle is, even if it doesn't seem very big to you, that could be very big for you. Maybe eating is your struggle, and that's just something that like you feel overpowers you every day. Well, don't try to take on the world. Just make one change every week, and just, you know, Chris is over there laughing. Eating is a struggle for me. I'm a fat kid at heart, so.
Because Tracy's shoving candies in her face at the fastest rate I've ever seen.
I love it. Tracy, I just want to say I love your vibe right now. You just look like an old soul, and I just like want to come hang out. Hi. So anyway, sorry, ADD brain.
Channeling my grandma.
What? I'm deaf.
I said I'm channeling my grandma.
Yes, I love that though. I do. I'm a sucker for that. So yeah, just be positive because you want to be. If you want people to show up in your space positive, well then spread positivity. My God, I just can't do it today. Allison, your baby, I just can't do it, you guys. I'm so distracted. All the cute kiddos on here. Anyway, I'm so distracted, you guys. But yeah, I just think that if you can come up with a way to be happy with yourself where you're at, even with your struggles. And when people say, oh, you know, the difference between someone who fails and someone successful is they just don't give up. And you're like, maybe they haven't failed as much as I have. They haven't been in my shoes. They haven't felt this failure feeling. They haven't felt like me. And you kind of like low-key feel like that. Or where they're like, oh, choose your hard. Well, I don't want anything to be hard. So I don't really choose any of it. Be thankful for failure, for struggle. I don't think anybody's happy when they don't hit the mark and they fall short. But when I look back through my life, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I did that. And even if it's just something small, that's why I said, like, what did you in the last couple ones, what did you do that really added value that you should be proud of? Like all that laundry that you didn't want to do, or all those dishes, because you have to learn to value everything that you do. You don't have to mother, you don't have to father, you don't have to wake up, you don't. I mean, legally, yeah, those are like your kids, or this is your job, or this is your life, that's your spouse, your significant other. You don't have to do any of that. um you need to value what you're doing, and you need to start adding positivity into it. And if you're looking for it somewhere else, you're looking in the wrong direction. You got to look inward first. So that, I think, ties into what Krista really wants to talk about, and I would love to hear it.
I'm like chomping at the bit because I was like, she's about to
Sorry.
get into it.
Yes.
So just a quick, this sort of relates, but isn't exactly what I want to say, but I stumbled upon a quote today that said, now more than ever, you need to decide and create your own certainty. How will you show up knowing your highest return on investment is going to be betting on yourself? How many times, I know I've heard a lot lately, especially with rank advancement being out, people are complaining and being negative about where they're not, that they're not where they want to be. Okay, big deal. Your check's not as good as you want it to be. Okay, what are you going to do to change it? What are you going to do to fix it next week? And I started thinking about, I was listening to a podcast. I think it was actually a Jesse Lee. Can you send that quote in the chat? Yes. It was a Jesse Lee podcast, and I can't remember the name of the guest speaker she had. It was one of her old ones. I went back, like started over on Jesse Lee, because I'm somewhat newer. So all the most recent ones, I've missed like 300 episodes because I never went back to the beginning. So I finally went back to the beginning. It was a very early episode, but the guest speaker was speaking on, being at the next ranks. People complaining because they're not at the next rank. Well, you're not even happy at the rank you're at. You're not happy with the failures, just like Rachel said, the failures that you've had now. You can't even be content with that. What do you think it took for them to get there? Are you going to be happy with all those failures and all those struggles to get there? Probably not. You're going to whine and complain the whole way. And then guess what? There's going to be even bigger, harder struggles. There's going to be harder sacrifices. There's going to be even more difficult battles, probably ones that you're not ready for yet. There's a saying, there's a new devil for every level. And that's very true, not just in the spiritual sense, but in the physical sense. There's a new battle every time you level up. And if you can't handle what you have right now, you're not going to be able to handle the ones at the next level. So you best strap up your boots and get ready. You best strap them up and be happy with what you're going through and figure out how to get through it. So whenever you're enter that next level and an even more difficult battle comes up, you're able to handle it. Maybe that's why you haven't leveled up yet. Maybe that's why it's taking you so long to get to that next rank, because God knows when you get there or on your way there, you can't handle it because you can't even be happy with your checks right now. Strap up those boots. That's right. And she was talking about that. She said, you have no idea what that person at the highest rank, what kind of sacrifices it took. Maybe some people get there very easily, very quickly, but there's some that don't. If you have not listened to Tommy and Q and Bethany's Zooms from the past couple Thursday nights, Tommy and Q, how long did they go without being paid? Does anybody remember? I want you to put in the chat.
Tommy and Q was like 6 months because they went from one team to another. Sorry.
6 months. They worked as a 40 to 80K, whatever, without pay. How many of you on here that are 40 to 80K or even beyond, how many of you would work for 6 months with zero pay and be okay with it? Be honest, drop it in the chat. How many of you would do that? Probably none of you, because you can't even be happy when you are getting paid. You can't even be satisfied with what you are getting paid. I told y'all I was hanging on church, like tuck your feet under the pews for a minute. I would, but not at the level, right? But most of us, we would quit if we had to go 6 months without pay. Most of us might stay because we love the people. However, a lot of us would not make it for 6 months. We might make it a month, and then we'd be like, forget this. I work too hard. All these people are crazy. Everybody's complaining. Everybody's negative. Nobody's doing anything. and I'm not even getting paid. So we'll work for candies. Tracy's like, just send me candy. You don't have to pay me, Lavelle. Just send me candy. But what I'm trying to say is, go ahead. Rachel wants candy too. I can tell. But what I'm trying to say is, how many of us would be there? How many of us are ready for those types of struggles? Because what if that happens to one of us? What if that happens? What if it takes us as long as it did for Bethany to hit a rank? Took her forever to hit the first rank. How many of us? We're sitting here complaining because it's taken us forever to get from 12 to 40 and 40 to 80 to the first rank. She couldn't even get there. She could. How many times could she have given up? And I look at her like she's crazy successful. She inspires me to no end. Every single time I hear her speak, I go stalk her page just for inspiration. I thought she was a lot more successful than she actually is because of the way she carries herself, because she's not negative about it. She'll tell you like it is, just like Rachel. How many times could we give up because of the struggles we go through, but we're positive about it? Courtney, stop laughing, go away. Go cook your dinner. So whenever I, just like Rachel, a lot of people thought I was a lot higher ranked back in January. I led January boot camp. Somehow I got January 1st. I don't know how I got luck of the draw to be the very first person to lead January boot camp. And there was 200Ks and Lavelle millionaires reaching out to some of my uplines thinking I was a really high rank. And I was just a 12K. I'd only been in this like 3 months at the time. They thought I was a crazy high leader just because of the way I carried myself, just because of the way I presented myself. You can step up and you can be in that leadership position. You can be a mentor to somebody and be the first rank. You can be just VIP 800. You don't have to have any rank. You could have started yesterday, but the way you carry yourself and the way you present yourself, the way you help people, you can be they'll think you're a way high leader. It doesn't matter your rank. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to get to that rank. Don't let anybody make you think that because it took you 2 years to hit 12K or whatever, that you're not good at this, that you're not a good leader. And be content in that. Heather talked about being complacent. There's a little bit of a difference in being content and being complacent. You can be content and still want more, but you can be content with what you have and what you have in front of you to work with, because you may not have every tool. We have so many tools that you best be like blowing up everything. But work with what you have right there in front of you. You don't have a big following. You don't have a lot of customers. Okay, take care of those that you have. You'll get more. Maybe it's because you neglected those. Maybe that's why everything's falling apart, because everything's kind of a mess. Get what you have in order, and then you can continue to grow. So, Rachel, do you have anything to add there before I just keep rambling?
Oh yeah, it's cool. I'm glad it's not me this time. No, I'm kidding. You didn't ramble. I talked longer than you did. No, the one thing I wanted to say was, when I think of like, okay, so not everybody feels like this, and that's okay. But like, I want like a lifelong marriage. I want one of those marriages that's going to last like to the day I die. Okay. And the one thing I saw is like, what is a quality of someone who is together for that long? It's never giving up. That's what makes these people successful. They'll tell you, if you sit down with these people, I could have left. Some of them did leave for a while. Some of them, they had so many trials and tribulations. They have like testimonies. Some of them are just, sweethearts the whole time. And they probably just are not sharing some of that stuff in there. But the ones that share, they're like, the ones that I really identify with the most are the ones where they had everything, like the odds stacked against them. And it was almost like they made it fuel their fire to just be persistent, and just like when rough times came and the storm came, they just got low and they just rode out the waves. And that is so powerful, and it is hard. It can be hard. Because when you're going through it, you're like, oh, forget it. forget. It's so easy to just quit. And I find that like, that's when they say like, oh, you know, like all these huge successful people, and my brain doesn't always remember names, so I'm not gonna be able to name some of them, but like, oh, like, didn't they say like Michael Jordan like got like they wouldn't even let him on like high school basketball, something crazy like that. Like people who were amazingly successful in a field, they didn't make it. And it was that persistence and the I'm getting in that, I'm doing it, and failing and failing and failing. It fueled their fire. They chose, instead of like failing, to use it as fuel. And I'm one of those people. When people tell me, oh, you can't do it, girl, you can't do it, I'm like, oh honey, watch me. Like secretly I won't say that to people, but I'm like, oh, I know, I don't know. And then the next day I'm like, you know, take a screenshot of that, like, oopsie, did this happen? Because I love it. I keep saying it's like my number one word in the dictionary, not in the dictionary I use. But no, I think that the persistent piece, that piece of when you want to be successful, you just choose to be successful, and you choose that you're not going to leave. You make that choice, you write it out, but you have to really know that this is like, whatever you're doing, whatever you're aiming at, this is like, I'm doing this. Like my marriage, no matter what happens, I am ride or die. This is like, I'm here for the ride or till I die. Like this is happening. And it's that dedication and that persistence that really, for me, does it. And think of the testimony. I think people who are like straight to the top are amazing. It's like, whoa, wow, whew, they're like a sprinter. How they like fly up there. That's awesome. But when you hear about those stories, like not getting paid for 6 months, and they did not give up, and they had all the odds stacked against them. They're such a testimony. My life is kind of like that. I had all the odds stacked against me. I had police officers telling me, oh, you're kind of screwed. We can't help you. Like, you can't help me? What do you mean you can't help me? Yeah, we can't help. Good luck. Seriously. And I'm like, oh no, this ain't happening. Nay. We're fixing this. I stood up to people bigger, stronger, more powerful, with money, power, position, control. When I was a single mom on welfare, and I was just in the middle of their powerful area, and said, no, this ain't happening. And it was that persistence. And I have family members now, and like recently, I'll see their comments on my post. Wow, you've come such a long way. We're so proud of you. And it was like, you know, where were you? Where were you during that storm? You weren't there, and that's great. And I love that they recognize, but you know, this is a twofold thing. One has nothing to do with it, what we're talking about. But, you know, a lot of times when you get successful, people like to show up. But when you're in that storm, people don't want to show up. Be cautious of those people, even if they're family members. And two, think of the testimony of all that they went through to hit those, you know, couples 200Ks and no pay, and their kids were eating ramen every night. And like, I just get chills thinking about how much that just makes all of that so much more worth it. It is such a testimony. It is inspiring to, I can't even imagine how many teams. Think of that aspect in whatever you're going through in your life, and how, like, in the moment where you're feeling like, F this, I'm out, those are make or break moments that will define like the history book written of your life. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
She's like, that's it. That's all I got. Yes.
I just like, that's it.
And just like she was talking about having that, you know, enduring marriage, having that lifelong marriage, we want lifelong success here. We want a lifelong commitment with this being our job. And a lot of times, you know, not saying they all don't work, because I know many successful marriages where they meet, married, and, you know, they last forever. But how many times do you see this whole quick thing, but then it falls apart? How many times do you see celebrities, for example, get together real quick and they're married real quick and then it falls apart real quick too? We don't want that here. We don't want this instant success and gratification, because sooner or later that instant gratification is going to wear off and it won't continue happening, and you're not going to be happy and you're going to quit, or the business is going to fall apart. Your team's going to fall apart. You're going to fall apart. We want it to be organic growth. We want it to be genuine growth within ourselves, within our teams, just our business as a whole. We don't want this just blowing up, everything been handed to us, everything just going great, and then we can't keep it. You know, we have waiting room, and I know we have encountered this before. I've seen it on other teams. People asking for waiting room, people wondering why they didn't get waiting room, people waiting till the last few days, and then they're like, do you have any waiting room to give me? Do you have any waiting room? Well, guess what, Sister Rue? Next month, there may not be any more waiting room to help you push it on up there again. So don't depend on that. I know a lot of times we try to run promos. Tracy will try to run promos. Okay, you want my waiting room so bad? Show me you deserve it. She ran a promo March. Was it February, March? I think it was March for her waiting room. You want it, you got to earn it. What other company does that? Like, no, I've never seen a company like this, that your upline, your leader can literally do work and then give it to you. Like, we don't deserve that. Nobody deserves that. But our leaders, they give it to us. Do they always? No. We don't have to know they even have it available. Maybe they don't have any available. Maybe they have an abundance. But we're not entitled to that. We're not entitled to their commission back. This is a total tangent, but like, here we go. We like the tangents here. We love the rabbit trails. My daughter wants a rabbit, so I'm just on the rabbit thing. You know, it's just, it works for me. We're not entitled to their commission back. We're not entitled to their time. We're not entitled to their resources. We're not entitled to any of it. We're entitled to their help a little bit. They are here to guide us and to mentor us. I think that's somewhere in the promoter policy, you know, that they are here. We do have to guide people that we sign on, but we do not have to give them everything we have. We do not owe them 24/7 help. We do not owe them our money. We do not owe them setting up these fantastic resources that Courtney just like vomits all over us. We're not entitled to her one-on-one coaching that she does for free. I've missed like 1 or 2 weeks because her calendar filled up so fast, but I've been there every single week. I sign up for and it's supposed to be what, like 15 minutes. And I think we end up going like an hour and a half every time. I don't deserve that from her, but she does it because she wants me to be successful. She don't get paid on me. Like, I'm so far down, she don't make nothing on me. So why is she spending an hour and a half? I see Courtney's hair flopping. I know she's like doing it on purpose. She's like flipping it around while she walks around the kitchen being all sassy. Look at her. There she goes. We don't deserve what we have here. Go away, Courtney. Now she's getting Alicia blushing. I can see it happening. We don't deserve all the help here. We're not entitled to all the help and all the resources and all the money. I'm going to keep repeating that till someone gets it, because I'm tired of people. She's pacing while she voice clips. She's probably sending angry voice clips. It's probably somebody asking for waiting room and more time that she doesn't have. But until we get this in our brain, look at her. She's huffing and puffing. We've all got her all worked up. We are not entitled to this. So we need to be grateful that that our leaders even offer this to us, and then stop complaining when they don't, or when it's not enough. That's just her huffing because cardio. She's getting her cardio in. But that's what I'm trying to say is we need to be content with where we're at. We need to be content with all that we have been given, and then we need to use it. Even with what we have within ourselves, just like Rachel said, if we're not happy with ourselves, nothing else is ever going to matter. The success isn't going to matter. The paychecks aren't going to matter. The recognition that we may or may not get is not going to matter. And if you're sitting here waiting on recognition, just forget that. Because I promise someone's going to step on someone's toes and someone's going to get called out. Someone's going to get recognized that maybe probably is doing less than you. And you're going to feel bad about it. If you cannot feel like you're doing a good job within yourself, then you need to fix that. We need to get these mindsets right before anything else, because it's never going to be enough. One little shout out's never going to be enough. You getting a boss babe box or not getting a boss babe box is not going to be enough. It's never going to be enough if you are not content within yourself. No amount of money, no amount of success, nothing is ever going to be enough for you.
You know, this reminds me of my lifelong goal of not helping people unless I felt like they were worthy of help. And I kind of like revamped that a million times. But when I was like in elementary school, I was lucky enough to be one of the students that was easily a straight A student. There was a few times I had to work really, really hard, like organic chemistry and, you know, certain crazy stuff. But I would have people who would be out having fun. I'd be doing all the work. We'd get to class. They'd be like, hey, what's all the answers? Dude, I spent 3 hours while you were out hanging out with your friends. Don't be taking my answers. And people get butthurt. Oh, you're not cool. Oh, I don't really care what I look like. I look smart now, don't I? Like, you know, and I think I've had friends over the years, and even like in parenting my kids, my 11-year-old son cannot clean his room to save his life. He'll have a core meltdown for 5 hours. And he'll pick up like 2 items, and he's like a mini hoarder. And I don't mean to talk negative about him, but he wants me to clean his room for him. And I absolutely refuse to do it. I don't mind helping someone that wants to help themselves. But if you're not going to do the work for you, why should somebody else do the work for you? And that's 100% what I was thinking about when Krista was talking is, you know, when Courtney said like somebody felt like, oh, only top earners, it's like, no. And if people really feel that salty about their own productivity level, that low, and that they didn't get recognition for not being productive, we're not in elementary school. We don't get a gold star for, you know, failing like a sports team or getting like a, you know, we get recognition when we actually show up because we're adults now. And I thought it was rather childish in my personal opinion. I don't like to share my personal opinion. And I understand how people feel like that. I do. Yes, you have to have confidence in ourselves and start being a leader and not a follower. Yes. And I apologize. I suck at reading the chats and talking at the same time, that dual thing. I'm never good at it, but you have to be your own leader. Like when Courtney was saying, yeah, even if you have no team, a 0-person team, you are still a leader. And that sounded really silly just to hear it out loud. And it's like, no, you are your own leader. You are like your billboard, your representation of you. How you want people to see you and how you show up looking, that's how people are going to see you. My daughter is like, well, I want to express myself however I want. I'm like, girl, you can express yourself however you want. Just know that people are going to have opinions based on the way you represent yourself in the world. And those may be good or bad. The hater rate is strong in this world these days, and people like to come at us extra hard. So be a unicorn, but own that unicorn. Don't cry when people come at you for that uniqueness. Be proud, be grateful, and own it. And that's something like I even try to teach my daughter. She was one that was bullied a lot in school. Yeah, own it. Exactly. So I really think that when you not only owning your good stuff, own your crap. Own this, you know, we all come in with our baggage and our negativities and our fears and like, don't lay that at somebody else. They got their own baggage and other people's baggage. Deal with your baggage over here. Own the good, bad, negative, be happy with it, sit in it, dwell in it. I like to call that sewage, the negative stuff. If you don't know what to do with it, you can't get rid of it, sit in it. Sit in your sewage. Sit in your negative, your fears, all that stuff. Let it sit there. Just dwell in it. Just get so sick and tired of yourself that you just can't take it anymore. And then do something about it. And if you don't know what to do with it, then sit in it. I want you to sit down and think about everything that you have that you don't like. And then when you get so sick and tired of yourself, then start creating. But don't sit in it too long. Don't sit in it too long, but sit in that sewage, figure out what it is. Where is the weeds in your awesome garden? And I know we had an analogy that wasn't like this, but like, let's say weeds are bad. Like, where is the weeds in your garden? Sit there, look at them, pluck them out one by one. Oh, you know what? I'm still yelling at my kids at 7:40 at night. I'm East Coast. Okay, well, what can I do to not yell at my kids? Well, here's some Play-Doh. Here's a freaking cupcake. It's gold star for me. Problem solved. I mean, seriously. It's, for instance, it's 8:00 and I haven't done this, and this. Well, go do this, and this. And then at 9:00, gold star moment. But until you sit there and with what you're dealing with and you really look at it. And I think, I've listened to I absolutely love Courtney's content. It's my jam. Like all that stuff, books, motivation, self, all this stuff. But when I first started doing it, let's be real, nobody wants to look inward and pluck out those weeds. Actually, I took a self-development course years ago, and my mom was like, you need to take this. And I was like, yeah, I know. And I actually watched her go to a 3-day course, and I saw her business double, and I didn't even see anything she was doing. It was her energy in the world. She showed up more positive, more proactive. I don't know. She just wasn't such a, she didn't have such a resting bee face. Okay. She just showed up nicer, and she had to deal with it. And she like lectured me on dealing with it. And I was like, I'm not dealing with it. This is not happening. I don't want to. I don't want to. Like a little kid, I don't want to do it. And she lectured me until I finally was like, fine, I'll go. And I got so sick to my stomach, I made myself physically sick. I manifested physical symptoms from how scared I was to look inward and pluck those weeds out. So when I say sit in it, for some of you, that may be like, oh, okay, I got this. Oh, here. Maybe you're not there. Maybe you need to sit in it for a hot minute. Maybe you need to let that stew come to the surface and then skim it off and get rid of it. Maybe you need to get rid of that. But, if you, more I statements, less you statements, more what can I do? When you're showing up, like they're saying, show up more productive. If you can't do that tomorrow, then don't show up tomorrow productive. Don't try to do it if you're not in that space. You got to clear off all that negative crap, sit in the stewage, figure out what is it? What is my problem? What is it? If you don't know, ask people, hey, and we're such a nice team. People are not very negative, and I love that. But I'm like, hey, when you watch my lives, I don't really know if they're very productive. What is your real honest opinion? Like, do you think I should do something different? Get a teammate's opinion about your life. Call a family member that's watching your live that you don't want to hear their opinion about and listen to their opinion. They have one. Oh, I don't know about this, your tone of voice. Oh, and you're not going to want to hear it. But just be open. Not that everybody's right. Be open to hear those opinions. Be coachable, like Courtney was saying yesterday. You have to be willing to admit that there's something I should look at and deal with. So, yeah, sorry. Here I am rambling. I'm a rambler. But I think it's really important now to really figure out, that's one last thing, I swear. When Courtney was talking about all this stuff, and she like, I get her brain because my brain is very similar to hers. Like she's like, boom, 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 boom. And I've had to learn my brain to be like that. But when she bullet points through these awesome books, and she even says like, oh, there's so much info, I don't feel like I'm doing it justice. I totally get what she means. I think for some people, like, whoa, you just hit me with like 40 billion things. I can't even keep up. Holy crap. Slow down, girlfriend. And but that is the level that you can, not that, you know, we're all going to be as awesome as Courtney is, but, or as fast, productive. We're all different and magnificently different. And I respect, honor, and love the differences of everybody. But I think people really need to realize, like, if it's hitting you like that, whatever part annoys you the most, like if she's like, oh, well, you're not choosing to be successful. And I was like, oh, how dare she? And then I was like, ooh, there it is. There it is. I was listening to one of her podcasts like a month and a half ago. And she was like, well, you don't really want to be successful. And the truth will cut. If it's like you pisses you off or it annoys the crap out of you, or you're like, ugh, no, I don't want to hear that one more time. 100%. That's where you need to start. Sit in that, whatever that is, stew in that. Figure out what it is for you, what upsets you about it. What is your body what is your body doing? Like, do you want to just go click, exit, denied, get out of here, ignore, whatever those things are? Normally those are the ones that are the biggest ones we need to deal with first. So, but anyway, it is 7:46 my time. It's 46 after. So I think I will stop talking. I think that's a lot of info.
That was a lot. And we get off on tangents, but I feel like they work. I feel like they're necessary, because then a lot of times we think of something that we branch off for next week. And if you guys ever have anything you want us to touch on, if you listen to a podcast, you're reading a cool new book, like, tell us, because Rachel has found a new book. I'm reading a new one that I randomly had recommended. We don't need to see your face all up in the grill. So if you find a book and you see a topic you want us to speak on, or you want to even guest speak, like, I'm totally open to that. Because we know y'all probably get tired of seeing us. I mean, y'all brag on us a lot, but we want to see your faces too. And we hear that a lot from newbies is, I want to see new faces. I want to see new faces. So don't hesitate for that. I'm unsure if we're having inspiration, if anybody can correct me. I know Haley is traveling. She said she was going to do her best to lead tonight. So we'll hop off for about 10 minutes and then we will hop back in. There, Haley. Okay, I see you. Jordan Peterson, The 12 Rules of Life. Haley is still driving. See, look at her being a champ. Gonna pull over. She's gonna pull over to lead Inspiration Zoom.
That is dedication, you guys.
That is dedication. So I will stop the recording, and if you guys just want to hang out, I can just start back.